So we'll take a look at an example where you may or may not want to use a do-while loop versus a while loop, which acts a little bit differently. So we'll write this program called to do or not to do. And there's a few setup items that you should pause the video and insert right now. So we're going to need the scanner and the number format. And then the way this is going to work is we'll be accepting donations. So imagine we've got a Kickstarter. We want to invent a new kind of glowing potato as opposed to, I guess, the regular kind. And we need $1,000 to create the prototype. So here's how it's going to work. We'll have a double value, and this one is going to be cash. It's how much money we have. And we'll also need a double for a donation amount that the user will be making. And we'll have a final double. This one will be for our cash goal. And that one is going to be 1,000. So that's what we are working towards. So this is going to be taken care of in two phases. So phase one here. Let's turn this into a comment. Phase one is going to be the donation phase. So we'll see how much money we can get with a series of donations. So this one, we're starting at 0 and we want to get to 1,000. So there's no way to get to 1,000 without receiving a donation. So we have to do this at least once. So do and then while. And we'll put the condition in a second. So do while is runs at least once. And then a do while, the check is at the end. So we're going to set this up to keep going as long as they enter a value that we can use. So while while the donation that they entered is larger than 0. So what we're going to do here is system.out.print enter a donation. And then we'll also tell them that it will be a 0 to quit. Okay. Now what we're going to do is the donation amount is going to be equal to input.nextDouble. And then we are going to have the amount of cash grow by the amount that they used as the donation. Just to make sure that this is a little bit more functional also, we'll put an if statement here. So if the donation is larger than 0, we're going to do this, and this will prevent the user from accidentally putting in a negative value. So negative value won't affect this. Okay, after the loop is done, let's print out how much money we have. So system.out.println, and then this one is going to be you have plus money.format cash. Okay, so let's run the program and see what we've got so far. Okay, enter a donation, $4, $45, and this one's gonna be $450. There we go, and then we'll put our 0. So at the end of this, we have $499. Now this will not be enough to actually pay for our prototype here. So we need to get to 1,000. However, potentially you could have this scenario where you run the program and the first donation is 500 and then the next one is 3,000. A backer is really enthusiastic about this. And then we've got $3,500, which is enough. So the next phase that we're going to have, it's going to be so this is phase 2. this is the interest phase. So if we don't get enough money, what we'll do is we'll wait until the amount of money that we have in the bank gives us enough that we can complete our project. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to add 5% every time we go through, I guess we'll assume that this is a period of a month. So, however, we might not want to do this. So this is where we will put in a while condition. So we may not actually want to run the interest phase of our program. So this is the check at the beginning. So it may not even enter the loop. So we're going to loop this. So we need to do this as long as the cash amount is less than the cash goal. So this check is going to happen at the beginning. So if the amount of cash is less than the cash goal, what we're going to do is we're going to have the cash grow by 5% of the cash. So this is going to be cash times 0.05. And then we're going to add that on using the assignment operator here. And then when we're done, system.out.println, you have enough money to make your potato. So we'll run the program. You know what? Let's also add in this value here just to make the output a little bit more visual. So it's going to add the 5% as we go through. So let's run this. So enter a donation. Let's go with the first example that I had, $4, $45, $450, and then a 0. So then what's going to happen is it's going to go through and add 5% until we have enough money to make our potato at the end, because the value won't become exactly 1,000. So with this kind of scenario, you want to really avoid trying to make cash equal to the cash goal. That's why the less than or greater than are pretty helpful for this. So we've got 2 loops here. The first one we guaranteed want to run at least once because we don't have any donations. And the second one, we may not need to run because potentially, and I'll go with the second example. I can't remember how much I had, but it was like 300 or something, then 3,000, and then 0. We already have the amount of money without having to add any interest. Now, the only problem with this program is we have a potential for an infinite loop here. So if I run this, and I'm not going to do this because I know better, if I run this and enter 0 as the first donation, what it's going to do is it's going to go into here, and every time it goes through the loop, it is going to add on 5% of 0. So 5% of 0 is still 0, so this will never become equal to the cash goal. So this is where we want to make sure that we're not creating an infinite loop by putting an extra control here. So if the amount of money, so if cash is larger than 0, then we're going to do this stuff. Otherwise, else, we're going to just say system.out.println, you fail to receive any support. And this will cover us. So now if I run this, if I put 0 on the first one, I don't have the problem where it's just going to create an infinite loop here. So often using an if statement as kind of like a gateway to whether or not you're using a loop that could end up going infinite is always a good idea.